I am Kim Tracy here with Pam Gockley, Executive Director of the Camel Project. Thanks for doing this with me again today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, this is another headline that I happened to find this week, and we were both thrilled with the headline. It said in Forbes magazine, 75% of employees are affected by bullying. And of course, our immediate response was, I wonder what that's doing for your bottom line, Mr. and Mrs. CEO, who isn't paying attention to your corporate culture, your work culture, maybe what your HR directors are saying, or worse, you're not paying attention to what your employees are saying, right?
Absolutely. And the Camel Project's initiative for bullying is adult driven as well. So our workplace initiative um, actually we start with a survey. So if you go to the camelproject.org, there's a survey for workplace. So it's anonymous. We're just trying to gather some data.
Mm-hmm.
The 75% threw me off. And I've also seen a statistic where 63% of the bullying in the workplace are from the bosses. So it's a little it's a little bit like navigating the schools. So if the schools bring me in, then they have to admit there's an issue, and if the workplace brings me in, they have to admit there's an issue. But what happens in the workplace, it just really costs really dings your bottom line. You can't keep talent, you can't recruit talent, your company gets a negative reputation if there's a rumors floating that the work environment is really hostile there, and that's caused by bullying.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no communications between management and upper management and middle management and staff and employee. So we're kind of waiting till the company starts ouching a little bit too much. The bottom line starts being affected. Then we don't even talk about litigation. If somebody is being sued for harassment, because bullying is the gateway behavior. So you start with the bullying, and it can lead to harassment. It can lead to violence, workplace violence. It's always in the news. Somebody took a gun back to their employer. So it's not even the monetary cost to a company, it's their reputation. So if a company has a shooting, how many new employees are they going to be able to attract? So what we offer to workplace is that you can become a certified bullying free zone. Now, this is not a stamp that you get. This is something you have to earn, and this comes down to the board's approval of granting the designation of being a work-free environment. So this is not something like you put when people put the houses under ADT, surveillance, and then there's nothing there. No, this is just not the window dressing. If you know me at all, you got to work for this, and you got to keep working on it. So we actually set up the structure where you can start an in-house bullying committee. It then you discover what we have, and then we define what bullying is, because it's like sexual harassment. Who knows what that means? So as long as we have that clearly defined within the company, that goes into your handbook. So you have a handbook, right? We're going to start there. So this policy goes into the handbook. Every employee, we call a meeting, the employees come in, we go through the policy, everybody knows it, the onboarding, the orientation. They not only get, here's your time clock, here's your bathroom, this is the bullying program. You do, and if you violate it, here is your list of what happens to you. And then maybe they want to have a meeting, and bring the two parties together and talk about what's happening and how we can correct it, and how this makes it feel, and how this is affecting you. And we always find out the bully is the bullier, and the bullier is being bullied. So there's always this stream of consciousness as well. but then at the, at the end, the litigation is much less
Mhm.
because you have a formal
Mhm.
policy that you follow every time.
Mhm.
You can't pick and choose. And again, then we'll come back in and we'll review things at least
Mhm.
once a month. And then if you want the program, then you can license it from us. But we do come in and check. And if we do not, if we come back in and there's no files, of nobody's complaining about anything, or there's not, the old, there's a box but there's no hole in it,
Mhm.
the suggestion box, you can't actually put anything in.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's not going to fly. What becoming certified means, that you can attract talent.
Mhm.
You can keep,
Mhm.
you build that reputation as
Mhm.
an employer who really understands and cares
Mhm.
about the bullying
Mhm.
issues.
Well, and what I like about what you're saying is not only does the program outline consequences that obviously the company agrees to, but it's bringing in a level of accountability
Mhm.
that a lot of organizations do not have regarding this topic. Something that we both know to be true is many states throughout the United States, they do have, uh, I should say, they try to enforce bullying prevention processes, right? The challenge is from a state level, there's no reinforcement. There is no watchdog, if you will. So the
Right.
fact that the Camel Project is willing to be that sort of watchdog is actually a positive.
Absolutely. And, things, go awry, and things just get, people don't feel it's necessary anymore, or
Mhm.
they let things slide. And
Mhm.
that's not going to be an
Mhm.
effective policy.
Mhm.
And if the organization is not willing to be devoted to this, and
Mhm.
they are not serious about it,
Mhm.
then you have a reputation that you're
Mhm.
not really serious
Mhm.
about taking
Mhm.
care, and it's taking care of your staff and your employees,
Mhm.
and it's not being fair.
Mhm.
You should not have a hostile
Mhm.
work environment to
Mhm.
walk in. You should not
Mhm.
be afraid or get that
Mhm.
little tummy ache.
Mhm.
That's really not the
Mhm.
best way to have your
Mhm.
employees think about their job.
Mhm. Yep.
And again, you pay now or you pay later. And
Yeah.
I would prefer companies be proactive and not reactionary.
Mhm.
This is a preventative. This
Mhm.
is getting, I'm from, Berks County, closing the door when the cow's out. You can't close the door after the cow got out
Mhm.
the barn. So this is a very much
Mhm.
forward thinking. And again, I can see this affecting and helping your insurance rates, and
Mhm.
just down the line of
Mhm.
saving the cost of bringing on a new hire, finding new hires. I mean, I don't know where it's going to hit almost every line budget item in your company.
Mhm. And what's really important for people to know is there are other bullying prevention programs out there. The difference is what we have seen through our research is somebody actually said recently to us, "Oh, it sounds very similar to this and we already have it." But because of the way that she answered, we knew that there was no implementation, there was no surveying being done, there was no follow-up, and that's what's really important. It's the same with the organizations, because if this particular person who actually is head of her organization, if she actually got involved in the process, she would probably see that that program isn't working at all. And you and I know that our research yielded 8-year-old research, which so much has happened in the world in 8 years. His research is not even relevant anymore.
Yeah, and that's what's really concerning me. This is not a box you check off.
Mm-hmm.
This is a program. This is a
Mm-hmm.
process, and it
Mm-hmm.
has to be continued and monitored, and someone needs to be accountable for
Mm-hmm.
it. And there has to be an outside third party,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, that
Mm-hmm.
comes in. And with you saying, "Oh, we already got that,"
Mm-hmm.
just tells me you don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Mm-hmm.
want the time to deal with it. But again, you'll deal with it either
Mm-hmm.
with a really negative outcome.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to get better by
Mm-hmm.
itself.
Yeah.
It's proven pretty much adults have a problem with dealing with it, because it is. And I don't want to say HR doesn't do their job, but they're so overwhelmed with other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
This is why the Camel Project is very attractive to companies, because
Mm-hmm.
it's here's the package.
Mm-hmm.
I will help you, initially set it up, and I will be here as long as you need me to be here to
Mm-hmm.
support it. but it will eventually take off and be able to be only updated once a year with the licensing agreement, and have me come in or, Zoom me in once, because I got to see you. I got to see people. You can tell, the phone is really hard to read people's body language. But yeah, the program, I think, can help a lot of companies if they are really invested and they really care about their staff.
Yeah.
Again, not that lip service. Oh, we really care about our staff.
Yeah. And then it's also the staff members being willing to actually kind of put themselves forward and say, I will champion this program, or I will participate in this program. It's almost like having a member from every single department of different levels within the organization coming together to say, we're invested in our company, but also our culture and each other. And I'm not talking about, we're not looking for utopia, because we know that that is not possible, because we're humans and humans make it messy. But what we are looking for is, if you can eliminate some of the crap that goes on in the workplace, for crying out loud, you may actually become an employer of choice. You may be the company that doesn't have those really lovely reviews on Glassdoor.com, right?
Absolutely. And this is a structure. And the more levels of engagement we get from different levels of management, different departments, they then own it. So if it's not working, it is, the onus is on them to fix it. But if you have my name attached to something, I'm going to take it much more seriously, but it's because it's them. It's that they're doing that. When you start saying, I'm doing this, it's what we're doing, that gets people's attention. And having that ownership, and the beauty of the program, in my opinion, is that they have the ownership. So if it's failing, it's your fault, not them. So, you know how I want to eliminate the word them from the language, but it's not them, it's me, it's us. And as soon as we get that corner turned, people start really taking ownership, and the programs are just they really work well.
Excellent. If you would like to learn more about the Camel Project, go to thecamelproject.org. Pam is available for not only coming into the workplace to deliver keynotes as well as the entire program, but we're also looking for opportunities to pilot the program in schools, youth-based organizations, youth athletic programs, as well as corporations. So thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thanks.